Mrs. Eddy established the fact that man is ever at the standpoint of joy when she wrote in the textbook, "Man is not a pendulum swinging between joy and sorrow." Science and Health, page 246, lines 1 through 3. Notice how Mrs. Eddy puts no limitation on the joy that we are to express, for she emphasizes that man is tributary to boundless bliss. It is much easier to demonstrate happiness if our cause for happiness is scientific. What is it that makes you happy? Is it person, place, or thing? Is it home, church, or employment? Is it human events or circumstances? Are you ever tempted to say, "I shall be happy when," or "I should be happy if"? There is only one sure, safe, permanent basis for happiness, and that is God. Over and over the Bible tells us to rejoice in the Lord. Our textbook tells us happiness would be more readily attained and would be more secure in our keeping if sought in soul. Page 80, line 30. Rejoice then and be exceedingly glad that it is God that makes you happy. I know that many of you have heard the beautiful solo sung in our churches, which ends with the line, "God is. This is enough to know." Plead the case for happiness with absolute conviction that just the existence of God is enough to produce joy and happiness. Whenever I find myself tempted to express anything other than joy, I open our textbook to these lines, Science and Health, page 520, lines 3 to 5. Unfathomable mind is expressed. The depth, breadth, height, might, majesty, and glory of infinite love fill all space. That is enough. It is truly thrilling to contemplate the depth of love, the breadth of love, the height of love, the might of love, the majesty of love, and the glory of infinite love filling all space. And then I ask myself, is that enough to make you supremely happy? And I have to admit, it certainly is. Isn't it wonderful that our happiness cannot be limited or restricted by human circumstances? Our joy does not depend on whether or not we win that automobile, or get that apartment, or marry that girl, or win that election, or receive that inheritance, or obtain that salary increase, or experience that healing. No, our happiness depends solely upon the fact that God is. Therefore, our joy and happiness can never be taken from us. For God, our one and only cause for happiness, is forever with us. Those of you who heard my husband's lecture on discovering harmonious relationships through Christian Science may remember the very apropos illustration that he used in speaking of the oil of gladness. First of all, he says that saying, "I'll be happy when this event takes place," or "I'll be happy if the circumstances change," is actually postponing our happiness or our heaven. He likened such an attitude to an individual who would take a car that was smoking, hot, smelled funny, made funny noises into a filling station. And then when the attendant would tell him that he needed oil, he would respond, "Well, when my car runs smoothly, when it no longer gets hot and makes any unpleasant noises, then I'll reward it with a quart of oil." How foolish. The oil must first go in. Then the car will run smoothly. Just so it is in our daily experience. We must first pour in the oil of gladness. Then our human affairs will be lubricated so as to run smoothly. It really makes no difference what your profession,